Okay, let's take a look at this guy. Shoes seem unfinished, and there's only one of them. There seems to be extra duplicates of some services, so I'm just going to delete those out. Um, okay, there's a lot of really messed up geometry here, and a lot of very dense geometry there. It looks like you've been smoothing stuff a lot, which you should not be doing. You should not smooth stuff in most scenarios, unless you really need that extra detail, which in this case you don't. For example, look at the shape of the face now, and I'm going to try to see if I can back out of this. So I'm going to see if I can remove this. Okay, and then see if I can remove this smooth, and see if I can remove that smooth. Okay, and can you really tell much difference in the shape? It's also, even with those removed, it's still very dense around here. I think you just added too many edges around the eyes. So if you want to fix this, also, you didn't really shape the face. It's really wedge shaped here. What I would do if I were going to try to continue with this is, yeah, and it's really dense here, but then really stretched out there. I would start by removing a lot of the detail. Let's put on symmetry if that's working. It is not. Okay, well, let's just do half the face then. Oops. Turn off symmetry. Anyway, start by just removing a lot of this geometry. Shift right mouse click, delete edge, even more probably. And then a lot of these. Because when you add geometry, you need to actually shape it. It just looks like you added a bunch without trying to, give them any shape. And that's actually counterproductive. Um, so, get it back to where I would really step this pretty far back. And wow, look at all of these. Um, there's just so many weird edges in here, and so much. Anyway, and then start by shaping this stuff to, nicely. And maybe get rid of some of these. Oh, what is going on with that too? Oh wow, look at all those extra verts in there. Yeah, you just have to go through and select these one by one and delete those out. I don't know what the deal is with that. Jeez. I mean, this thing is a big mess. Honestly, it's just a big mess. the amount of time it'll take to clean this up is probably less than the amount of time it would take to model it again properly from scratch, just following the instructions. It seems like you follow the instructions a little bit and then you kind of go off on your own tangent, like your own, and I think that's, yeah, I mean, just using a regular delete for that. Keep those edges in there. Put these back in, Control Shift X, up to there. This to here. Get rid of these. You know, and then really take your time, you know, shaping this to the head. Look how dense the hair is, my god. Stop smoothing things. Do not smooth them. I don't know where you get that. We did not say to do that in the lesson. That's kind of your own thing, but don't do that. So the idea is, the whole strategy is to work with a small amount of geometry, a small amount of edges and points, get that shaped as closely as you can to the desired shape, and then only add geometry once that's shaped as best as it can be. You know, in this case I'm kind of fitting it to the eyeball. So, I mean, you could put more time into it than that, but it's starting to get close. And then don't add another loop until, you know, you're really happy with this. You know, really take your time with it. Honestly, that looks a little weird, but so then you can add, let's say you're happy with that, then you can add another one and then shape all of these points, you know, really get these into a shape that you like. You know, I'm not going to do it right now because I could spend hours, but you know, adjust all those points, and then when you add another loop, adjust all those points, etc., etc. Don't just add a whole bunch of loops, because that only makes the thing dense and hard to edit. And then similarly with this mouth, it's like really pulled back here. I think we're going to want to, I'm just going to select one here, shift period, which is the greater than symbol, and then B for soft select, maybe shrink that down a bit. But I'm just going to try to pull this whole thing forward some, just because his face has this sharp kind of wedge shape to it. Now, oh, what's going on here? Oh, you've got like some whole broken situation here. My goodness. I mean, there's so many issues with this model. The thing to do is either delete a lot of edges to back, because you see what I would do at this point is now, since the mouth is all messed up, I would shift grow the selection and try to get, you know, take this back to Uh, um, just trying to get this to a point where we have a proper loop going around the mouth, which is not an easy thing. Well, let's take out these and those. Just selecting that one, shift double clicking, Control E. And let me just try to scale this in towards the middle. Just make sure these verts are at 0 in the x direction, so that they're still on the center line. Okay, so now at least we have a loop going around the mouth, but then you kind of need to go in and shape it again, and build from there. And then there's all this dense stuff on the back here. The collar is a whole mess here. That's not salvageable. This geometry is all wrong. So these were smoothed again. Everything's getting smooth. Do not smooth. Do not smooth. Do not smooth. Do not smooth. Unless you really have a specific strategy where you're adding more geometry for a certain reason. Yeah, and its feet are, its shoes are unfinished. So I think you need to rebuild this, or I can give you a stock model. But you can't. The geometry is such a mess. If you try to work with this model moving forward, it's going to be a nightmare. So let me know if you want to take the time to rebuild this, or if you just want to use a stock model that I can send you.